Hey, Lab Coat Agents, it's Tristan again, and I've got Suneet with me. Suneet, how are you, buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here.
And we've got a special guest today. Can you tell us about her?
Yeah, so this is Gayle Zientek. She's a broker owner of Homes Realty in Portage, Michigan. Um, they've owned that brokerage since about 2012, and they close over 50 homes a year by referral. Crazy. In 2017, they got upwards of 200 referrals, and Gayle was recognized as the 2017 Realtor of the Year for her local board. Just, a little background is Gayle's original webinar she did on LCA a couple of years ago was one of the first webinars I ever saw on Lab Coats, and it totally impacted my business in a positive, great way. So I've been a fan of hers ever since, and happy to be here.
Nice. Well, Gail, welcome to another webinar. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day in Southwest Michigan.
Wait, where are you? Because it looks like you're outdoors somewhere.
Yeah, I'm at my lake, Clear Lake, and it's a Thursday, and chat, there's nobody out on the lake playing today, so I won't have to worry about the motorboats interrupting our conversation.
That's nuts.
Awesome. Beautiful.
As long you can work anywhere, as long as you have a really good internet service, right? So I've got an offer already prepared. So when my clients call me today, I can send it over through Dotloop and get it signed, and we're off and running.
Awesome. So Gayle, let's just dig right in. You're the queen of referrals and relationship-based marketing. So I just, want to ask you, please don't take this the wrong way, but what makes you the authority on teaching us what you're about to talk about?
Well, when you look at the word authority, it has to do with having been there and done that. And so I would say for the last 6 years, we've closed 50 plus homes by referral, and that's just how we do business. So when people ask, what do you do? It's just, it's relationships and consistent effort over time. So I think, the fact that I'm actually doing what I teach other people and talk about, I have the results and the lifestyle and the income to back it up.
I think that's a great answer. Question for me, personal question. Have you ever bought an online lead?
Never.
That's my favorite answer.
I don't even know. I wouldn't even know where I would go to buy an online lead, to be honest.
Love that. So a couple more questions. We all know how powerful leverage can be if it's implemented correctly. What's one process that you've done that's allowed you to make the most growth?
Well, I think that mindset, continuation of continuing education, learning, being a very present student of the game has enabled me to continue to grow both personally and professionally.
And so then, what was one part of being a student of this game that really propelled you to the next level? Was there a certain book, a certain podcast, certain something that just made it go off in your head?
Well, when I got into real estate in 2004, I took a class, a 40-hour class, studied all weekend, and in 72 hours, I became a realtor. And honestly, I knew nothing about, representing clients or anything about selling houses. So I was 44 years old at the time, and I had 3 kids that had gone to college. And so I watched them in continuing education. So I made that decision myself to learn as much as I could over the next 3 years. And, I got my E-Pro, my ABR was the first, and CRS, GRI, and I studied and sat for my broker test within 3 years. And so I think that learning is what propelled me into being a good agent. But I was always looking for, the way to connect with people. 3 years into the business, we'd probably closed. My husband joined me 2 years in. So in 2006, he got his license. And I think at the end of 3 years, we had closed probably around 100 transactions. So, you know, marginal, getting into the business, and then the recession hit. And, you know, we had found a way, and everybody knows me as send out cards, because I found send out cards back in 2007. And honestly, that's been the one thing that I've done consistently for the last 11 years that, you know, has led me, Steve and I, to where we are today, where we're, you know, the referrals just continually come in, and we service people who want to work with us.
So go ahead. So sorry.
Well, I mean, I think that that's huge. Everyone wants more referrals. In fact, it was one of my goals on the first day of this year. I don't know if I've succeeded at it or not, but let's hear about how you've made your business so referral based, and just what are the things that you're doing consistently every day, and kind of tell us more about how that works, because I'm really curious about that too.
Sure. You know, I've made social media my friend, and so I've gained an audience, and that includes realtors, that includes local friends, clients. You know, I'm not objective to adding anybody to my Facebook, just because that's the way for me to keep in touch. And when you're a relational based person, you know, what happens on social media, it's all relational based. You find out about people, you find out about their families, and, you know, what's happening with in their lives personally and professionally. If they're, you know, getting a new job, or they just had a new baby, and they post those pictures. And so I've made it a practice to interact. And I have a formula that my coach Hank taught me. It's 50, 25, and 1. And so that's my mindset for the day. I got to connect. I got to high five at least 50 people every single day, you know, and that's just merely going through your news feed. And Suneet, how many cards have you gotten from me?
Oh man, I don't know, but there's a pile of them on my counter. I look at them. There's a couple with me and my brother Tristan on them, and a bunch of my daughters. So I don't know.
Well, you got the freaking cutest little girl in the world.
Yes, he does.
And so, like, if I'm going through my news feed and I see pictures of that sweet thing, then, you know, I can pause. And because you're already in my system, it's literally 2 minutes to send a card to you in the mail. And, you know, so that's what I do with our sphere of influence, with our past clients. As a matter of fact, one of my clients yesterday, and we're going to talk about this later, I think, about the closings that happened while we were in Paris a couple weeks ago. But, you know, Katie and Chris closed on the sale of their home and then the purchase of their other home. And, you know, they sent me this picture of them, you know, holding the Eiffel Tower with a frown on their face because I wasn't there. And then another one of them smiling. So I implemented that in the card that I created and sent. But here's the cool thing is Katie says, and this is the 4th transaction with Katie in the last 4.5, 5 years.
Wow.
She says, "What is it wrong that I expect to get a card from you?" But then she goes, I know that's just how you roll. So, you know, being able to take those images, and they posted lots of pictures of, you know, standing in front of their new home, out mowing the lawn for the first time, you know, all of those life events that I can take and implement in a card that just becomes memorable.
I love that. So you said the system, 50 high fives, which consists of what, like a Facebook post, a message, or a card, right?
The 50 high fives are just like an emoji. Like, I like what I see that you posted, or I give you a heart. You know, everybody loves to get a heart because it's like, it just makes you feel good. You know, a sad face. My friend just posted today that her mom is in hospice, and she's letting her tribe know. And so I give the tears. So 50 times a day I'm doing that. 20 times a day I'm commenting. So Molly just posted pictures of her brand new baby boy. And so I love that. And then I comment and say, wow, he's a big one. And now I'll take that to the next level and send the card, you know, take the pictures and send the card. But, you know, if you get in the habit 20 times just commenting, and hopefully out of those 20 comments, you're going to enter into a conversation. And a conversation just could be like a back and forth. You know, you comment, I comment, you comment, I comment. Sometimes it goes to a private message or a text message. And then, you know, my practice is look for opportunities to at least send at least 3 cards every single day to celebrate what's happening in everybody's life.
So you send at least 3 cards every single day?
6.8 to be exact.
So how do you choose who it goes out to? And do you have a method, a system? What does it look like? Because I'm curious.
Yeah, so challenging, right? Like me and Tristan talk about it. I'm sending 5 cards a day every day this week, and I send 2.
Well, if you're following the system like the 50, 25, and 1, you're going to find at least 3 people out of those 50 that you interact with that are worthy of a card. And like I say, I see your little girl and she's watering the goats, you know, I'm going to pause and send you a card to, like, just to say, this is so cool. You know, Tristan, your family goes on vacation, you know, you guys are you're top of mind with me. So you show up, see, and the thing of it is you engage with me as I engage with you. So guess what? The algorithms of Facebook have you showing up in my newsfeed. And the more you do that, the more you engage with people on a regular basis, the more you show up for each other, the more opportunities you're going to see to send those cards. So I've just built my database to an amazing amount of people so that very quickly from my phone and the app, I can save the picture, send the card, and have it done. So I'm looking for opportunities to, as I scroll through social media, what happens is pictures really capture your attention, right?
Yeah.
So I teach people to like be level 4 with your smartphone. If you go to my wall and you look at Paris, I've had so many people say, oh my gosh, I feel like I've been to Paris with you, because I probably posted 150 pictures of Paris. But you know what? That was cool because somebody saw my pictures and they sent me a card.
Oh, that's cool.
And so, you know, what you send out comes back. And I like, so this is from Teresa. Teresa's a realtor outside my market, but you know what? I'm going to remember Teresa. If I know of someone looking for a home up in the Ann Arbor area, she's my girl because she does this for me. And so I think that we can all learn from that, as how you treat people, how you enter into their thought process is how they're going to respond to you throughout your life.
And I think the really big thing too that I can speak to about you, Gayle, is every single interaction is genuine, right? It's
no, I'm trying to get something from you. That's why I'm sending you.
It's so genuine.
Thank you. That's a huge compliment.
So let's find out a little bit about, you know, what makes you tick. What's your why?
Well,
go ahead. What's your
well, you know, one of the questions that you asked me is about my family, and I said, you know, how important is your family to you? I said, well, do you need air to breathe? Right? That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. You know, I have 3 grown children. I have 9 grandchildren. And, you know, one of the goals I set for myself 10 years ago was, you know, and at the time, my oldest granddaughter is 16. And, you know, I set a goal 10 years ago when she was 6 that I wanted, when my grandchildren turned teenagers, I want to take them on a special vacation. And most of that is because when Steve and I got married, I was 18, he was 20. We had 3 kids by the time I was 21. And I always been a dreamer. I've always been an entrepreneur and a dreamer. You know, I was a stay-at-home mom taking care of children for 25 years in our home. And when they were young, I would say, oh, when you get to be 7, 9, and 10, we're going to go to Disneyland. Well, they got to be 7, 9, and 10, and we didn't go to Disneyland. I said, oh, when you're 9, 10, and 12, we'll go to Disneyland. When you're 12, 13, and 15. Well, the fact of the matter was we never made those trips because, you know, we worked hard, but we lived paycheck to paycheck, and we never had the extra money to take our family on these special trips. And so it became important to me that I wouldn't let that go for my grandchildren. So last year, in 2017, our granddaughter McKenna was just shy of her 15th birthday. We spent a week in Hawaii with her. And it was the first time in my entire life that I was on a vacation where I read the menu from right to left, or left to right. I didn't pay attention to what the right side said as what it's like. I'm hungry for, I'd say calamari, but I don't like it. I'm trying to think of something fun. Like
cheeseburger with French fries.
Yes, I'm hungry for a cheeseburger with French fries and a banana daiquiri. And that's what I would order. And I would say to McKenna, order whatever you want. What are you hungry for? You want a steak? Have a steak. You want a filet mignon? Have a filet mignon. I don't care. I'm reading the menu from left to right. And our whole week was spent that way. She went surfing. I went surfing with her. How many of you went surfing with your grandma when you were 15? But I'm young enough to still be able to do that from the sacrifices made as a young mother. But that was what was important to me. So, being able to travel with my grandchildren, and Zoe is, she's turning 13, August 18th. And next year, the year after, we're planning a trip to Europe. So, cause she goes, Grandma, are you going to care if I don't want to go to a beach? It's like, no, this is your trip. So, imagine that, being able to just have those ideas. So that's my why. That's why I do what I do, so that I can have these experiences with my grandchildren and my children.
That's a huge why, Gil. I love that. So my daughter, when she gets mail from you, I'm not sure if I told you this before, but she calls it Gale Mail.
Oh.
And first of all, you're the only one that sends mail to her, so. But it's Gale Mail, and it's so cool. And so I want you to take us through, and I want you to show us how a day looks in your life, because what you've done is you've shifted the way you look at social media. You shifted the way that you look at your daily systems, right? We don't look at this. We look at Facebook, but we look at it differently than you do. And so tell us what you do and how this connection that you've made online transitions over to offline. I think that's where the magic is.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's where, imagine this isn't glasses. It's supposed to be an infinity symbol. So you have an infinity symbol, and what happens with that is it's infinite, right? So, Cody's written a new book. Cody Bateman is the founder of Send Out Cards, and it's called The Power of the Human Connection. The Power of the Human Connection, how relationship marketing is transforming the way people succeed. And so, I took little notes so I could share with you, but here's that infinity symbol, and it's system and heart. So, Cody writes in the book that we leverage what people want from us, right? People want from him information and systems. Think about real estate, information and systems.
Okay.
But we inspire what you need from us, which is the philosophy of the heart. When the head gets and the heart connect, that's when the magic happens. Because I was on Michael Hellickson's podcast this morning, and when I first turned on, one of the first words I heard was relationships. Everybody's talking about relationships. Everybody's talking about the human connection and getting back to the basics, going old school. People say, let's go old school. Well, old school is about, think of greeting cards. Greeting cards is kind of old school, but greeting cards, the way we do it with Send Out Cards, allows us to connect in a special way so that you can be Gale Mail. That just touches my heart. And she's going to get another card, and it's going to have something to do with Gale Mail. But, it's the balance between self and others, and here's the power of your mindset, because that's another thing. One of the tipping points I've had in the last year was I hired a coach, and my coach would tell me, like, are you reading? I'm like, oh, every time I pick up a book, I go to sleep. He said, well, get Audible. And there's a lot of people that can probably relate, because you work hard all day. And then like when you shut down and you read, but when you listen, I've listened to 18 Audible books so far this year. That's more books than I've read in the last 18 years. So, you know, personal development, I think that's a tipping point. Learning, just like I learned when I first became a realtor, you know, absorbing everything and taking classes and getting education.
Yeah.
We can't stop that. We have to continue that so that we become better people. You know, the whole saying about you're the sum of the 5 people you hang around and the books you read.
Yep.
There's a lot of value to that.
Absolutely.
And like I've read, you know, some of the books that I've listened to, Power versus Force. Now you gotta listen to that on like 1.5 speed, or it gets really boring. But you know, essentialism, outwitting the devil, the question behind the question, you're a badass at making money, letting go, the prosperous coach, the subtle art of not giving a, and I like got into the first part of that, and I was like, this doesn't relate to me. So Give and Take, the 4 Agreements, Crushing It by Gary Vee. That was like, I've listened to that one twice, because, you know, you just listen to certain ones that you go, wow, that's cool. Relentless, the Shadow Effect. So, and so these are the things that are making me into a better person, so that, you know, I feel good about myself, because if we feel good about ourselves, we can deliver a better experience to our clients.
That's so insightful, the whole thing, and I love that booklet. So I'm gonna ask you to send it to me in Facebook Messenger. So we just saw that you went on a trip to France, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about what was going on with your business when you were on that trip?
Okay, so we've had a really good year so far. You know, relationship referral business can be steady business, and you know, that makes good. You mentioned I had 200 referrals last year. That filled the pipeline going into the first part of this year. But going to France, we had 10 homes under contract, and so we knew that, you know, you can't just not go away and enjoy life, but it's preparing. We closed 1 the day before we left, 1 the day we came home, and 4 in between. So there were 6 closings in the course of a 9-10 day period. And the reason why it was successful is because we prepared our clients prior to us leaving. You know, it's in the conversations that we have. So we had the conversations that, yes, you know, by the way, we're under contract. Let's just say it's June 30th. By the way, if this happens to close between the 18th and the 25th of July, we're going to be in Paris. But don't worry, because we're going to make sure that everything is taken care of, that there's people around, that you can access us. You know, my husband is an amazing guy, and he goes the extra 10 miles, and he answered questions while we were in Paris. You know, it's a 6-hour time. It's 9 hours for you guys, but 6-hour time difference. But it gave us opportunity to just connect, and those closings went smooth. And like I say, we got pictures from our clients with pictures of them with their iPads with the Eiffel Tower with a sad face, you know, and then a happy face. So, you know, open communication is vital to any business.
All right, makes sense. So Gayle, tell me, in the morning when you wake up, what does your day look like? Are you always looking to see who you can send a card to and who you can connect deeper? Is that how it works? Or explain that to me, because to me it's foreign, because I don't do that, right? So Tell me how that looks.
That surprises me, Tristan, because, you know, you are such a visible person, and I see you everywhere on social media. So, you know, it surprises me that. And I had a conversation earlier today with someone who's got a very wide, a large visibility, you know, 40, 50,000 people know who he is, sees him. And, you know, it comes down to, I love Coach Barino. I met Coach Barino through Lab Coat Agents.
Yeah.
And I met him at your first, well, I think it was your second, when we were in South Beach.
Oh yeah, our second LCA live event. Yes.
Yeah, and so he and I have become good friends from that. And you know, I promote him, he promotes me, and it's a synergistic thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when you're online, I wake up in the morning and I go out, make my cup of coffee, sit down, and I pick up my phone and I just start like looking at the notifications. I usually overnight get there's about 30 or 40 notifications. And in Facebook land, that means that someone's commented, or, I mean, you made a post and then there were people that are like, who's Gayle Zientek?
Yeah, that was good.
And so so I take time to respond, right? The worst, and like transition that into your clients. There was one client that was referred to us. All of our communication was through Facebook Messenger. She didn't email. If she had a question about a document, she sent me a message on Facebook. And so it's learning how people communicate, but that's where I am. And so I just spend time acknowledging people, communicating with people, because there's an acronym I like to share. It's called VCP. It stands for visibility, credibility, and profitability. And the more visibility that you have, and when I teach the 50, like if you're high-fiving 50 people a day, that's 18,000 interactions a year. If you're like virtual handshake, you're commenting, oh, I wish I had my numbers. I think it's like 8,500 comments a year if you're doing that 20 times a day. 5 conversations, like 1,800 conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach 3 cards a day. So that's 1,095 cards a year that you're sending.
Wow.
That's over 30,000 impressions that you have on somebody.
That's
and
insane.
I'm gonna guarantee you that if you do this, you're going to reach top of mind with enough people. And Coach Barino, back to Coach Barino, if 150 people know who you are, they know what you do, they know how to find you, and they trust you, you never have to worry where your business comes from. And our business comes through our sphere of influence. It comes through our BNI networking group. 40% of our annual income comes from our network at BNI. And then our past clients and referrals from past clients.
Okay.
That's where our business.
How about from the social media point, like from Facebook and Instagram, just from the people that you know there, when you're commenting and liking, and then if some of you don't know what Gayle does, she grabs some of those great pictures on Facebook or maybe Instagram, mostly Facebook, and puts them on a card and then writes something really special inside and sends it to you, kind of just reminding you that, hey, look, you posted this, it was cool, and I wanted to let you know that I just recognize that you're there and I love you. And it's super, super heartfelt, I think.
Absolutely.
That's the example that's what you do, right, Gayle?
It's what I do, and you know, it's being level 4, where it's unconscious competence. You know, I don't have to think about it. It's just a part of who I am, and I do it every single day. And if there's times that go, you know, and there's times that I can feel overwhelmed. Like I have a list of 3 of those people that we closed with while we were gone that still need cards. Now my husband he sent me pictures of them from their from the closing. So take pictures. If you can get in the habit of using your smartphone to take pictures and post, because people interact more when they see pictures, and then utilize those pictures on a card, it's magical. And this Maya Angelou saying about people will forget what you said, they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. Mm-hmm. And so that's just consistency, Tristan. That's been my consistent effort for 11 years. And it's like a journey. So listen, you have a 20-mile journey and 10 miles is uphill, right?
Okay.
And so when you start out on that journey and you're pedaling your bike, let's just say you're pedaling a bike and you're going on a bike ride, 20-mile bike ride, first 10's uphill. And when you get started, it's easy, it's easier because you're learning and growing. And then as you get like into the hill, you're like, this shit's hard. Sorry. You go, this is hard, but you keep pedaling and you shift down in your bike and you're going because you know that you're going to reach the plateau. And so you go, and just before you reach the top, and you want to quit, like that time, you want to just like turn around and go, never mind, I'm just going to go on a 5-mile bike ride and I'm going to go home.
Yeah.
But if you keep going and your consistent efforts, once you hit the top of the hill, what do you get to do? Kind of get to coast a little.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Steve and I are kind of coasting right now in our business. We climbed for, from 2007 to 2012, 5 years, we made that climb and we reached the pinnacle of referral business. And for since 2012, the past 6 years, we've been able to close 50 homes a year, and kind of by coasting. It's because we're visible. People know who we are. They know what we do. They know how to find us. We've offered exceptional customer service, and they trust us, so they come back and they refer others to come back.
All right. So since you've been coasting over the last year and still doing absolutely amazing, can you tell me what someone like you who's working at such a high level is going to do next to level up? Are you happy where you're at? Are you going to level up? What are you thinking? I want to know.
Well, one of the reasons I hired a coach, and I love Nick's, he had a thing on Lab Coats about, because there's a whole question on, who do I hire for a coach?
Yeah, coaching, consulting, right?
I think everybody has a need at some point to hire a coach. You just have to figure out who you are and what you want. At the time that I hired my coach, I was wearing the send out cards hat. I've built a strong organization in send out cards. I wore the broker hat. I'm hiring agents. I am a realtor. So for me, it was figuring out who I am and what I really wanted to do. And, the past 6 months, I've started coaching people on how to use social media and send out cards to increase. So referrals for a living is kind of who I became over the last 6 months. I see myself still, diversifying, helping other people. When you get to a point in life where you've gotten some success, then it's time to reach down and give a hand up for someone else. And the platform that we have at Lab Coat Agents allows us to be able to do that. Collectively as a group to, when you're good at something, just offer that your success and your ideas to other people and allow them to kind of experience or grow. We all resonate with different people depending on our personalities.
Very true. Very true. Anything that you'd like to add, Bud?
I mean, I am so pumped up to send a card right now. You guys all know. I sent one this morning to a listing appointment that I went to. He wasn't quite ready for the close, so I didn't push it. And we had like 20 mutual friends. So I sent him a card. Yeah, I just need to work on the relationship stuff. I mean, I feel like we've really gotten really good at online leads. Tristan, this is like the easier business almost, bro.
I know, dude. Here's what I'm thinking, and it goes along with what Gale's been doing for years. For this year, for the end part of the year, we're looking at shifting before the market shifts, right? And we're looking to really base our more of our business on the referral part of it. And we're going to do two things about it. One is do what Gale is doing so well, right? That connect from online to offline to bring those referrals in, and then also do events, right? So I'm going to combine a little bit of what Gayle is doing and a little bit of what Michael Mayer is doing. So the cool thing about it is kind of what Gayle was saying. We're exposed to so much in lab coats, and it's almost difficult to decide what the hell you're going to do.
Totally.
But I always go back to, what does NAR show? Stats, right? Most of the real estate business out there that's coming to real estate agents is coming through referrals. So why try to reinvent it? Just go with the flow and just get creative on how you're going to get those referrals. And that's what we're trying to do right now. That's why I wanted to have Gayle on. Gayle, anything else you want to add before we let you go? Any words that'll motivate people to go out and do what you do, or anything good?
Well, anything worth doing is worth doing well, and consistency plays a part. So, you have to commit to it. You have to make a commitment. And then I listened to podcasts, Michael Mayer or Michael Hellickson, I heard him say the other day, I think it was Michael, you have to commit to something for 6 months. So, maybe he didn't, but 6 months minimum. And don't, just because you're not seeing results, here's the mistake people make. Okay, I'm going to go get myself a send out cards account and I'm going to start sending cards. And then they send, 5 cards a day for 2 weeks and they get nothing.
Hi.
And they get nothing. But you know what? It's like the book Acres of Diamonds. You're 3 feet from that acre of diamonds that's going to be what gives you your freedom to travel, your freedom to buy the car you want, the freedom to buy the house you want, the freedom to live the lifestyle you want. So commit to it, give it 6 months to a year, and then review and see what happens. I guarantee you, if you sent 3 cards a day and you sent 1,095 cards, heartfelt individual cards in a year, you're going to have opportunities for conversations. And anytime you get an opportunity for a conversation, that leads to more opportunities. So commitment, conversations, cards, and consistency.
Love it.
Love it.
Love it.
Neat. You good?
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm going to challenge you though, brother.
No, I hate challenges.
3 cards a day, bro.
For how long?
I don't know. This is what we do. Like if I'm working out and stuff and all this. 3 cards a day.
Okay.
Well, you just said you're going to implement things by the end of the year before the shift happens.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you want deals in December, you better be working in August.
That's so true. All right. You bring up a good point. I'm always motivated by you, Gayle. It's super sweet that you take the time to talk to us and share your knowledge. The next time we do this, though, I want to see some actual cards that you use, your campaigns. I want to go into it deeply, maybe have you on again October-ish. You down with that?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, Sunil, let's do that, man, because I want to see some details.
We'll send you the link to for a day, and let's get it back on the books, because I think that would be huge.
Yeah.
Okay, we're at like 32 transactions right now. By October, I'm hoping to be at the 50.
Nice.
So you hold me accountable.
I'll hold you accountable. You hold us accountable to sending half a card a day. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Gayle.
Tristan Mail doesn't rhyme with like Gale Mail does.
Yeah, no. Gale Mail is so much better.
Take care.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.